The founders of this country warned against single-party impeachment. They said that it would be bitterly divisive, perhaps irreparably divisive for the country. The founders of this country warned us against a single-party impeachment because they feared it would bitterly and perhaps irreparably divide our nation. The founders of this country warned against a single-party impeachment. You know why? You guys know why. Because they feared it would bitterly and perhaps irreparably divide our nation.
The founding fathers warned us. I mean, they feared a single-party impeachment. They knew that it would bitterly divide the country. It might be irreparable damage to the country.
We already live in a time where rank hypocrisy is commonplace, but Mike Johnson has managed the Herculean feat of standing out for being especially hypocritical, as his words from the Trump era have managed to age worse than milk in the sun. Here he explains that it's not just his contention, but that of the founding fathers themselves, that a president should by no means be impeached by one political party. And yet, lo and behold, Republicans have just voted to open an impeachment inquiry in the House by a party line vote, with every single Republican voting in favor of the measure, including Mike Johnson himself. Which leads me to believe that Johnson not only doesn't mind seeming hypocritical himself, but he also doesn't mind betraying the fact that those founding fathers he crows about, he doesn't actually give a shit about them. They're just a nice little scapegoat he uses to sound virtuous while espousing his abject partisan hackery. And as if Mike Johnson's purported hard line on one-party impeachments wasn't enough, here's more.
If you don't like the president, he goes on the ballot again after 4 years. We have an election in 11 months. Let the people decide this.
I mean, you literally can't write this. Not only is he against one-party impeachments, he's against them 11 months out from an election. And would you look at that? With an election in November of 2024, that puts us exactly 11 months out. It's like Mike Johnson was begging the world to see that he stands for absolutely nothing. And keep in mind, all of that righteous grandstanding, that was to protect Donald Trump from impeachment for extorting Ukraine by withholding military assistance while demanding dirt on Joe Biden. We have firsthand testimony from officials who were on that call. That was apparently not enough for Mike Johnson 4 years ago. And yet that same guy just voted to advance a Biden impeachment for a crime that there exists no evidence for. Seriously, don't take my word for it. Even the Republicans who voted for this thing don't have a crime.
What is the specific constitutional crime that you're investigating?
Well, we're having an inquiry, so we can do an investigation and control the production of witnesses.
And what is the crime you're investigating?
And documents. High crimes, misdemeanors, and bribery.
What high crime and misdemeanor are you investigating?
Look, I will, once I get time, I will explain what we're looking at, and I will make the equivalency.
No, I'm just asking you for
the last impeachment.
That's like the cops arresting you, and when you ask them what you've done wrong, they say, well, we'll let you know once we find something. And look, I'm no legal expert, but I'm pretty sure that's not how this works. Pretty sure that the prosecution begins after there's evidence of a crime. And as of now, that quite literally does not exist. And that's a point that's already so painfully clear on both sides of the political spectrum, from MSNBC to Fox.
But frankly, when you ask folks what the impeachable offense is, and I have asked this question of those three committee chairmen because they're the ones leading the charge here, they can't give you a specific charge, in part because the things that they're alleging happened when Joe Biden was not the president of the United States, and in some cases wasn't even serving in public office. But the other part of it is they don't actually have a substantive link yet, or ever, we'll see.
The House Oversight Committee has been at this for years, and they have so far not been able to provide any concrete evidence that Joe Biden personally profited from his son Hunter's overseas business, but they are going to try again with this impeachment inquiry that's set to start next week. Stu.
Congrats, Republicans. You found the one way to bring the entire political media ecosystem together. The only thing that both sides can agree on is that this impeachment is moving forward despite the glaring lack of even a modicum of evidence. Bravo, guys. Bravo. In fact, leave it to Jamie Raskin to really drive home the fact that the Republicans are just barreling ahead blindly.
Now, I know I have to just not let you go before asking you about impeachment, because I know you have some strong views on this.
Yes.
Comer was caught in a little bit of a hypocritical moment, shall I say. That's a diplomatic way of saying it.
Yeah.
But what do you make of this Republican party line vote? I mean, that to me feels pretty disheartening, maybe not surprising.
Well, what's amazing to me is that you've got an overwhelming number of people in their caucus who voted against impeaching Donald Trump for inciting a violent insurrection against our own House, against the Congress, against the Vice President. We saw it. There were 150 police officers who were bloodied and wounded and hospitalized from their violent attack in an attempt to overthrow the election and to seize the presidency. They voted no. Now they want to go ahead and launch an impeachment inquiry against Joe Biden for a crime unknown. Nobody can identify what the alleged offense is. I said yesterday on the floor that they call murder mysteries whodunits, because you start with the murder and you try to figure out who did it. This is a what is it? Nobody even knows what the crime is. And we've been at this for 11 months and they can't identify, is it about Ukraine? Is it about an auto loan? You know, nobody can identify with any precision what they're talking about. It tells me that the same forces who wanted to unconstitutionally and unlawfully prevent Biden from taking office after he won the election by more than 7 million votes, 306 to 232 in the Electoral College, are again unlawfully, unconstitutionally, illegitimately trying to bar him from completing his term. Also, Donald Trump can say, well, I might have four indictments against me across the country, 91 criminal charges and 2 impeachments. But this guy is being brought up on impeachment too, so we're even. I mean, that's the whole point of this.
It's a sad moment in history.
And look, here's the deal. It frankly doesn't matter how hypocritical Mike Johnson and the rest of these Republicans look, because this isn't about preserving integrity, because there is no integrity in this process. The whole point of this charade is to do or say whatever they can to perpetuate this narrative that Joe Biden did something wrong. It doesn't matter to them that they have no proof, that they haven't found any proof in the last 11 months, that their supposed smoking gun evidence is a car loan repayment. That's all completely unimportant to these Republicans. The facts are completely unimportant to these Republicans. Their goal is to create the optics of a crime, and that's what they're doing now. Do they look like absolute hacks? Yes. Will they barrel forward anyway? Also yes. So at the risk of allowing them to fill some vacuum with the usual spate of bullshit and disinformation, we need to push back against the sham process at every turn. And it doesn't take much, because even Republicans are unable to acknowledge what evidence they have against Joe Biden. The GOP might think they're hurting the president, but in reality, all they're doing is proving to America that they are unserious hacks operating an unserious operation, all in service of helping themselves politically. Before you go, I need some help. Please subscribe to this channel and do your part to help grow the progressive media ecosystem. I don't do sponsorships or paid ads, I won't ask for money, but just subscribing to this channel goes a really long way, and it helps get the message out to more people. The subscribe button is right here on the screen. You can also subscribe to my Spanish language channel, which I made to reach those crucial Spanish-speaking voters. That link is on the screen too. And finally, if you want to listen to my audio podcast, you can follow that link as well. Thanks so much for watching.